computer. Hello, parenting platform. I'm happy to see you after a while. And my name, as usual, is Dr. Ayo Adenuga. I'm a public health physician and the CEO and founder of Ace Parenting, where we help parents and caregivers and teenagers to navigate the parenting challenges successfully so that they can have peace and be fulfilled both in their professional and home lives. So today we are having a very special person dear to my heart. She is a phenomenal personality. Her name is Coach Okemute Olori. She's a certified John Maxwell Leadership Team member, speaker, trainer, and coach. We are both with the John Maxwell, and that's why she's so wonderful and dear to me. She's the founder and CEO of Transformational Parenting Academy, a company that is specialized in leadership development, personal growth, and organizational change for both individuals, including parents, teachers, teenagers, and youth. She's an all-rounder. She's really known for expertise in helping individuals and organizations achieve their goals and maximize their potential. Welcome with me, Coach Mute Olori. Welcome, Ma. Thank you for joining me today. I feel honored for you making out the time to come here today. Can you talk more about yourself? I can never do you enough justice. Can you tell us more?
I think you've done really justice. So let me start by saying thank you very much, Dr. for having me on your show. I'm really very grateful. Thank you so. This so is so long. Thank you so much. All right, like you know, my name is Muti Olori. I think you've said quite a little bit about me. The only thing I want to add is I'm a mother, and I'm also a broadcaster. I wear the heart of a media practitioner, mother, wife, mentor to many people, and very passionate about God. And I think that's the only thing I would like to add to everything you have talked about for now.
Thank you so much. Those are important. Being a mom, being a faith person, they are really the core of our values and why we are here. So thank you so much, Coach Mute. Today, everybody, get ready to listen, to learn, get your pen down because you're going to get a lot out of this. And we're talking about the effect of family and the community. We know that the core of everybody's being and the units of every society is the family. The family is the unit, is the core from which we grow that determines our foundation. After that is the community. So today we want to deep dive into how this interplays. What is that effect on the individual or the outcome of a person? So thank you so much, Mark. Can you speak more to that? As we start, what is really the effect of family? How does it interplay?
Yeah, so thank you so much. You know, many times we seem to isolate the family from the community. So we say, oh, we're just alone, and the community is the community, society is the society. But we seem to forget that the family is that minute unit that makes up the society or the community where we live. So we cannot isolate it. In as much as we will build walls, fence, keep ourselves to ourselves, but there's no way we can remove it that whatever happens in the family affects the society. If the family unit is put together, not dysfunctional, then of course you're sure of having a society or a community. I just want to narrow it to a community because society is very large. To a community, and community could be the street you live, the estate you live, the community, that's, environment where you live. So if the environment where you live has a lot of dysfunctional family or dysfunctional persons, of course you're going to have a dysfunctional society. So the units, the family is very, very, very key, very important to the society or the community that we're building. And when you talk about family, I think we all know that family is just a number of people, maybe they're related by blood, or they're associated, one way or the other, and they come together, they live together, as one. They have their set of values. They have the set of principles they live with. These are parents who have children. It could be also a single parent, male or female, raising up these children. But they have their family. They have their values or what the principles they stand by. It could also be people that come together by tribe, by religion, or belief. But the fact that you're all together and you have agreed to stay together, you form a unit, and that unit is an element of an element or reflection of what the community where you are would be. So example, what we have today, people say, oh, I don't want my children to associate, or we don't associate with people in our area, in our environment, we're all alone, which is good. But the truth is that the minute your child leaves that house and gets into the on the street, that child becomes a reflection, an ambassador of where you're coming from. Now you have children in schools where they come from different families, they become together. You have diverse values, diverse attitudes, diverse persons, with their own personality traits all coming together. So whatever you do in that unit will determine how this child will survive when they come together with other children from other units. So the family plays a very important role in the community. It's very important.
Yeah.
If they help the family helps to meet the needs of its household. It also the responsibility of the family to bring out the moral values that they stand for. The family also gives you a sense of identity. That is it. The family gives you a sense of identity, and that's why you bear a name. Mine is Olori, so I stand, I'm identified by that. But you see, there are also a lot of Oloris in the world, so I will also narrow it down to which of the Oloris. So you either find my Olori in a tribe, a geographical location, or where I stand for. But it doesn't really change that. When I move from that place to the other, it's still the identity I carry to wherever I find myself. So when families get to understand this, we will know that we play a huge role in what happens to the community, what happens in our environment, what happens to us, because we are part of it. We're influenced one way or the other, positively or negatively, by the family units around us.
Thank you so much. This is so juicy. I love the fact that you actually went from the core values and principle of the units of the family and how it interacts with who the person eventually becomes. There is those values that makes you have your self-identity. And it's the fact that when you interact with your school, with the community, and some of those characteristics comes in, is the initial values and identity for who you are that now reflects. I love the word that you said, that we are ambassadors, okay? And we reflect our families. Can you tell me about the kind of values and trait that a person should have that would reflect the best version of themselves that the society is looking out for? Because we know that many people have different values, they have different cultures. But one thing you said is there are some integral value that is common to all men, irrespective of where you come from. Irrespective, there are some core values that makes the society better. What could that be?
Now, there are some of them I'll just mention, which a lot of people take for granted. They don't really see it as something that forms or defines who you are. Number one is honesty and truth. Now, a lot of people do not. If parents could really know that the value of honesty is important in defining who they are and how much these children or they themselves contribute to society and form society, they will take honesty serious. Now you imagine you raising a child and saying to the child, you have to tell the truth every time. It's good to be honest. But that same moment you're saying be honest, you get a call, you get a phone call, and someone says, oh, where are you? You say, oh, I am You now lie and you mention somewhere else where you're not. Now you think you're being smart or protecting yourself, but you are setting the precedent saying honesty is a value, yes, but in our family, it doesn't make meaning. It doesn't mean anything. All right. So that's why we said in this day and time, we've come to realize that parenting is not about do what I say, is do what I do. You model the attributes, the values that you want to stand for. Spirituality is another thing. We see a lot of families says, oh, it is not important. Faith is not important. But the truth is, if you don't stand for something, you stand for anything. So you find a lot of young boys and girls go to school, then they begin to struggle with their spiritual identity. Where do I stand? Because the family has not been able to tell them where you stand. Whether you are atheist or whoever you are, you believe in something. And whatever you believe in, which is a supreme being, should be that same value and culture you should inculcate in your children. I've come to realize that even if I'm a person of faith and I belong to the Christian faith, I've also realized that those in the Muslim faith or those who are even in Orthodox, what do you call it? Traditional faith, they have values when it comes to faith, when it comes to God, who they pray, what they believe. So you find out that these are the things they use, they stand for. You believe in the sun, in the moon, you're dedicated and committed to it. So if you're a person in the same faith of mine, what are you teaching your children to be committed and dedicated to? So when they leave your home and they get outside, there's what we call the faith crisis, not even only identity crisis, but even faith. They can't stand for it. So they're easily influenced. They're easily pushed around. They will go for anything because you've really not taught them about the supreme being and how they should go and follow him. Some children wake up in the morning, they don't know how to pray because they've not been taught. The parents wake up in the morning, all they know is, are you up? Everybody get up, go to take your bath. We have to go to school. We're running late. There is no time to teach the children. And sometimes someone will say, oh, I did it while lying down on my bed. What did the children see? So when they go out, you see, these are things that we used to represent who we are. Growing up as a young girl, these were the things I met in my home. So when I had to go to live in other people's houses, maybe during holiday or while I was in school, where there were crisis or the other, it looks strange when I go into a family and they don't pray. And I get to gather the children together and say, okay, let's pray. They begin to look at me, what are you talking about? Now, it almost affected me because, wow, it's good. Nobody's chasing you, come and pray, come and pray. But you see, that value that been instilled in me from childhood followed me. That no matter how much I try to run away, something only tells me something is missing. You have not done this morning. The other value a lot of people don't take cognizance with or pay attention to is respect. You see, respect is so huge that if as family, as a society, we've seen a lot of disrespect for young people, for elders, for environment. We as citizens, we have no respect for the things installed by the government to take care of its people. We don't know how to take care of nature. We don't have respect for plants. We don't have respect for, for the things that nature, what God has created, or the things that have been given to us. Maybe a parent buys a child a phone. The child does not understand what it is. So there's a lot of disrespect for that product that was bought. I'm just using the phone as example. So you see, they throw it around, they drop it carelessly because they really don't understand. But if you teach your children to respect not only you as a parent because you're the parents, but you teach them that, look, respect is important for everybody because when you respect people, it is reciprocal. That's how people also treat you. And so respect comes with saying things like, please, thank you. Just simple words. Please, thank you. But when you teach your children to say, would you greet, would you respect someone? And you ask them to do something for you. They bring it, maybe you send a message, get me a cup of water. They bring the water. You didn't say thank you. But you see, demand that respect from that child. So when they go out, they don't see the need to say thank you or to say please. So these are little things that imagine a society where everyone respects each other. Imagine a society where we are all honest to each other. Imagine a society where we respect our faith and the faith of others. Just imagine how that community will be like. But it is the responsibility of the family to get that community that they deserve. Just like what's her name? Indira Gandhi will always say that change you deserve or that you're looking for begins with you. And you are the change itself.
Yeah.
So we can create community and society when they put in the work.
I totally agree with you, Coach Muti. I love the fact that you started with core values of honesty, and you also put in the fact that modeling of these values is important. As parents, we have to model it. What values do you want to see in your children? You need to model it. You want your children to be honest? You need to be honest. You want your children to have the core values of being creative or reading or things like that. You need to show them, how to read. I like the fact that you also spoke about spirituality, a higher being, because that is what gives people the hope and the resilience they need, irrespective of what religion. There has to be a belief, and you have to be able to model it. Read the Bible in front of them or whatever your holy book is.
You have to do it in front of them. Yeah.
You have to do it. You have to also bring them along, in that journey. Okay, can you lead us in this prayer? That is leadership. Also teaching them leadership within the home. But
Exactly.
what I love most that you've spoken about again is respect. There's a myth that respect is only for parents. I love the way you said respect is not just only your parents. You have to respect everything, from people to objects, from people to objects to trees to nature. How do you interact, react, okay, with people around you, with nature, with things? Some children, they'll smash things, and the parents will just laugh. You don't respect that object. So when you don't respect things in the home, the child will go out and become a vandal.
Of course.
Of so course. I just love the way you really put those pieces together, that we need people that are honest, filled with integrity, and the parents should model that with spirituality, making sure that because we're all spiritual beings. And that's where we get our resilience, our hopes from, our hope, and then respect. It's so important. I thank you for that. So I want to ask a question. In homes where you have differing values, like the father believes we have to go to church and pray, or the mother believes we have that, and the other parent doesn't, how do you think families can come together and align so that the children will see what the right values are? Because I've noticed that, or from some of the experience I've had with people, there are different values for both parents, and it's difficult to show the children how it should go. The mother wants to go to church, the father doesn't care so much, or the father cares, the mother doesn't. What do you say about that?
Well, thank you so much for this question, because should I say I was once a victim, or I would have been a victim? I don't know. I don't want to use the word victim. It's not the wrong thing. But I've seen families who operate that way. And I've also fallen in love with someone of another faith. But, when the relationship was going so further, and, issues about, oh, I like you, I think I would like to marry you, begin to come in, I had to review my stand, and where I belong. And I started by really reflecting on the fact that, how do I want the future to be like? How do I want my children? Do I really want to expose them to these complexities and complications of, because some people really don't bother. They'll tell you when they first meet, love covered everything. They fall in love, but they forget to plan. So if you actually are in that kind of relationship, before you got to the stage of marriage and having children, you should have talked about it. It's important. You can't just say, oh, I just found myself here and I don't know what to do about your children. So I had to take a very painful decision in my life to say, look, I want to raise my children in the faith that I believe in, because that's what I know. That's what I can give, So I had to break that relationship, based on what will the future hold. But I've also seen families who live together, that's what they call religious tolerance. They've been able to live together, but I've also realized that they left the children sometimes to make the choices at the end of the day where they stand and where they want to go to. So the children are exposed to both religion, one way or the other. Sometimes they come to an agreement and the man could say, okay, let the children go with you and what you believe with as the mother, or about when it is time for celebrations and other things, my children will understand this is where I stand for now. I've also seen families that work with the father Muslim, father Christian, mother Muslim. They did both. When it's fasting period for both, they did it together, but as the children grew, they chose where they want to stand or what they want to stand for. So now you are leaving this to the individual as a child to make that decision. It has its own confusion. It has its own, like I said, complexity, because a lot of people that have had cause to cancel, it's not easy. It's not really easy, because the people who bear the brunt of such confusion are actually the children. It's one thing to say extended family. I come from an extended family where we are Christian, but we have Muslims and we have traditionalists in our families. Other people believe it's okay, so we just interact. But when it's in the same home, people have been able to manage it. But let me tell you, from counseling and working with children, they bear the brunt of the confusion. They really don't know where to stand. They don't know who to please. Maybe at the end of the day, they have a broader knowledge of what religion is, and they have the ability to tolerate and respect other people's religion because of what they've been exposed to, right? But raising such children has been difficult, except the parents come together to say, this is what we want to do. But in as much as they do that, the children are the ones that are left to make the final choice of where they want to.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's what I hear you say sincerely is that tolerability and unity matters. Where you have different values in the home, either the father or the mother have different values, either religion or things about even honesty or things about caring or things about even what you do in the home. I hear you say tolerance and unity matters, presenting a common front before the children. You could disagree on things, but you go in to agree and come out to this common front,
Just for the
respecting the
sake
other
of
person.
respecting, you have to
Exactly.
really agree on what you want. At
Yes,
times, a lot of us come from different background, different
exactly.
religion.
Yeah.
The Yorubas, when they want to greet, they lie down to greet. In my place where I come from, you kneel to greet. These are two different things.
Mm,
So when you want to raise children, well, which would they choose?
exactly.
So they have to do both. You have to teach them and accept one. You don't have to show them, in their presence, because the minute that two of you decide to come together, it's your home now. You may bring some values from where you're coming from. Some children are raised in an aggressive environment. Do you want to bring that into your home? So when you meet as a couple, you have to discuss, what do we want? You have anger issues, I have this, but we have to create compromise because of the children we're going to raise. So we have to agree on what do we want. And that's why it's important that people develop themselves. People learn to grow themselves, because the only hope for tomorrow is the fact that you're growing today. So if you don't do it, and that's family is important, learn, respect other people's tradition, know about it, and then pull from everywhere and say, okay, this is how I want my own home to be. There's certain things from the home we grew up from that we never want to see in our homes. We never want to bring it there. Some days ago, I was discussing on my show about grandparents, and the old woman was telling me that why would a child say they don't want the grandparents to be in the life of their grandchildren? And I said, look, there are many things that some people have been through, in the hands of their parents, where aggression, failure in marriage, aggression in such circumstances are transferred to raising these children. And so they grew up in a very aggressive environment. And so when they come to develop themselves and find that life could actually be without yelling, shouting, beating, you could actually live a life and raise your children without having high blood pressure. They don't want this kind of abusive person in that environment. So there's no way they will want you, whom they have grown up for years, 10, 20 years or 25 years, knowing you as someone who is very abusive emotionally, with words, and psychologically. How would you want them to have you in the life of the children, no matter how much grandparents mean? So this kind of circumstances that we do find ourselves, it's for the couples to say, look, this is what we want to do. But when you lack knowledge, how would you want to realize that there's need for you to plan for your home before you even say, I do? So these things are important. If not, the children suffer it. They get disjudged and disenfranchised. And they get into society, very confused. And they just do anything that comes their way. So that kind of person is now moving again to set up another home, raise another generation of disenfranchised, confused, and disoriented persons. So how can community be a better place?
Yeah. Sincerely, I like what you say, because our experiences shapes our personality and who we eventually become. I remember you saying that in your home, and funny enough, we share the same thing, whereby in our homes, we had parents that would take us through devotional, take us through that, and you transferred it as we're going out. The same way, people, if in your home, your children see dysfunctionality, abuse, hatred, bitterness, they take this with them. Some of them do. Some are lucky not to, but most of them do. They see it as being normal, as being abusive, being normal, insultive, being normal, unloving, being normal. And they become that person in society.
Even in cases where they
Yeah,
find out that it's not right, they resent you, the parents, at the end of the day, because they
exactly.
now find something that is better from their interaction with others. They now say, oh, so a family can be united and my family cannot be. Resentment comes in, hatred comes in, disconnection comes in. So all these are things that build up, that come in when both ways, either you go it with it outside and don't see anything wrong with bullying other people, or they now have this resentment for you not teaching them or raising them right. So both ways, we as parents benefit, good or bad, from the decisions we make as a couple.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Olori. This has been a very lovely interaction. We've learned a lot. I believe I have learned a lot. My book is full. I've been jotting down all this while. The interaction and effect of family, on the community, and how those things, interact with themselves. So, but what is the last word you'd like to give people, parents, caregivers, even grandparents? What advice would you give them that would help them going forward? What should they be doing right now to ensure that they shape the mindset of their children well enough that they can be the best version of themselves in the society, in the community?
So I'll say four things. Number one, every family must be intentional in building a value system in their home. Intentionality is important in building this value system. So you need to know what you stand for. Number two, every home must have its core value that they stand for. And what they stand for must be what they learn, they work with, and they stay with. They have to be consistent and dedicated and devoted to those core values that they stand for. Number three, the older children in a household must be taught to model whatever they've been, the values they've been passed by their parents to the younger ones. Now, it happened to me. I've raised two, and then at the end of the day, there's a last born. I didn't have the energy anymore to begin to do the same thing all over again. So it was easy for me to have a conversation with the older ones. That, look, I've taught you people this thing. You are the ones that are now with your brother, the last born. The secondly, generational gap. You are closer. He will listen more to you than to me because he feels that my age is so far away. So please make sure that the values I've taught you, you pass it on to the younger. We must be intentional. I had this conversation and I always have it. I said, look, he's your brother. No matter how you see it, he's your brother. So you have to be patient. The way I was patient in teaching you. And what is that? It's leadership. You're equipping the young ones with the leadership skills to hold forth for the family in case you are not there anymore. And the fifth one is that these values should be repeated again and again, verbally, in writing. Some of us will put it as posters around the house. We create frames or pictures of the values that we're going to teach. It should be there and keep repeating it. Repetition is important, and that's the only way children learn, and that's how the way people learn. So don't say, I've said it once, I've said it twice. Keep saying it until you see that it's imbibed in them. And it's not only imbibed in them, they are also teaching their peers and other people around them the same core values that you stand by. So that is the responsibility of the family. And if every unit of the family can do this, then sure that we can have a better society.
Thank you. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. It's another teaching entirely again. I love it. Thank you so much. Coach Mutole, where can people find you? People that have heard you, I'm sure they love all those things. You are the person, the kind of person that builds both individuals, organizations, and communities. Where can they find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Mute Olori. I'm on Instagram at Olori Mute. And of course, my email is mute.olori@gmail.com or transformationalparenting@gmail.com. On Facebook, I also run the Transformational Parenting Support Group, so they can find me anywhere. Don't forget the name Transformational Parenting is a team because there is no parent without teenagers. That is where our values are tested when they are, when they are teenagers. They can be loving when they're young, but when they're teenagers, that's when you know if you have really done a good job in your parenting. So Transformational Parenting is the community I run also on Facebook.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You guys, you've learned a lot from this. Share with people that will benefit as well, your friends, your families, your loved ones. I wish you parents very well. I'm rooting for you. I love you. Share, comment. Let us know what your challenges are, and we are here to support you. So thank you and see you next time. God bless. Bye.